In this video, we will solve this problem. Okay, let's look at A is the point -1, 2 on the graph. Well, how do we decide if a point is on the graph of a function? We plug in the point into the function. So x is -1, y is 2, and this f of x is y. So plug in x, y into the function and see if we will get an equation. So y is 2 here equals 2 times x is -1 squared minus x, which is -1 minus 1. So let's just check real quick. On the left side is 2. On the right side is 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 1 minus 1. Which is true, right? So that means this point 2, 1 is on the graph. So I will answer yes to this problem A. So now let's look at B. If x equals -2, what is f of x? So remember, f of x is just y. So here they're asking you, if x is -2, what is your y value? Okay, so if your x is -2, looking for y value, basically you're looking for what is f of -2, which will give you 2 times -2 squared minus -2 minus 1, which is 2 times 4 plus 2 minus 1. That will give you 8 plus 2, 10 minus 1, which is 9. Okay, so they also ask you, what is the point on the graph of f? So the corresponding point here is -2, 9. X value, y value. Okay, see here. If f of x is -1, what is x? So f of x here means the y value. So here they're asking you, if y is -1, what is x? So you want to replace f of x or y with -1. So we have -1 equals 2x squared minus x minus 1. And we want to solve this equation. Okay, so first of all, this is a quadratic equation. You want to leave one side equal to 0. So I will add 1 on both sides here. That will give me 0 equals 2x squared minus x. All right, so here I will solve it by factoring because I see these two terms has a common factor of x. I will factor out the x. You have x times 2x minus 1. Here you can come up with two equations. One is x equals 0, which is the first factor equal to 0, or the second factor equal to 0, which is 2x minus 1 equals 0. So two solutions here. One is x equals 0. The other one is x equals 1/2 if you solve these two equations. Okay, so when f of x equals -1, your x is equal to 0 or 1/2. So the corresponding points are 0, -1, and 1/2. -1. Okay, so that's C. D. Also over here. What is the domain of f? So for domain, we want to look at the x values of f. So basically what x cannot equal to. In this case, x can be any number you want. Right, so the domain is -infinity to infinity. X is all real numbers. Right, E. List the X-intercepts of the graph of f. So we know to find x-intercept, we want to make y equal to 0. Okay, so make y, or in this case f of x, equal to 0. You will have 0 equals 2x squared minus x minus 1. Alright, this is a quadratic equation with one side equal to 0 already, and I will just factor the other side. Okay, so how do I factor the other side? I'm going to use my way, and I know there are many ways to factor. First, I will factor this 2. Write it as 2 times 1. It's actually 2x times 1x. Well, okay, so 2x is factored as 2x times 1x. All right, then I'm going to factor this number, which is 1 times 1. Let's ignore the sign for now. Now I'm going to cross multiply. 2x times 1 will give you 2x. 1 times 1x will give you x. All right, look at the middle term here. Middle term is negative x. So to get negative x in the middle, I need this 2x to be negative. Right, trace it back. That means this 2x times negative 1 will give you negative 2x. And check over here, 1 times negative 1 is equal to negative 1. That's good. So everything matches here. So I will factor this trinomial as 2x plus 1, which is the first row, times the second factor will be the second row here. It's 1x minus 1, which is x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, so since I factored this trinomial, I can make each factor equal to 0. So either 2x plus 1 equals 0 or x minus 1 equals 0. So solve for the first equation, you will get x equals negative 1/2. Solve the second equation, you will get x equals 1. So here we have two x-intercepts. One is negative 1/2, 0, and the other one is 1, 0. Okay, the last one is f. We want to find the y-intercept. So to find y-intercept, you want to make x equal to 0. All right, in this case, you want to find f of 0, which will give you 2 times 0 squared minus 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. So your y-intercept is 0 for the x value and negative 1 for the y value.